Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Z Planet Live. Slightly different this week. I got to apologise on behalf of the lovely Gaz. Unfortunately, he's not feeling very well. He's feeling a bit rough around the house. I think everyone's got this little bug going around, not the bug. Good evening, Richard Suggett. How are you, sir? So what we're going to do, I'm sure you all wish Gaz very well. Hopefully, he might be watching. Send him a message about 50 minutes ago, but he's not replied, so he might have crashed out. So hopefully he's going to get well again and he'll be back on his feet for next week. I nearly cancelled, but I thought, no, we've got a guest on, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So we're going to try to change the format today. Hi, Andy. Yeah, in case you've heard say it, I might re-say it in a minute. You're stuck with me. So probably everyone will run out of the chat room saying, where's Gaz? We want Gaz. We don't want bloody Mark on his own. But I'm not going to be on my own. I hope you're all good, Richard. Thank you very much, Mr. S. Mr. Suggett, good to see you. That's Richard Suggett from the Veg Growers podcast. Andy the Collector, good evening, Andy. Nice to see you. I've still got to get a proper studio because the backdrop's crap. All I've got is my old Spiral Paranormal DVDs, some Jerry Anderson TV shows, and some Doctor Who. It's not a great backdrop, is it really? Rick. Hello, sir. Yeah, hopefully. I've just sent him a message, which hopefully might pick up later on, Rick, that if he's feeling better, I've given him a link and we'll bring him back on. So, yeah, we don't know what we're even going to talk about this week. I can't remember. I know we're going to do one coming up, which is going to be a very exciting one on conspiracy theories. 9/11 moon landings. We landed on the moon. We did. And that should be quite an interesting debate if we can get some people on that. But today, what we're going to do, once everyone starts coming, got 9 watching so far. Streamer has a green function if you can use it. Yeah, the chroma key is not brilliant. I've seen on some other people's ones, Richard, and I'm not happy with the chroma key. It looks like 1970s Doctor Who. I'd rather have a proper studio, but we'll see. Good evening, Dave. How are you, sir? Got a bit of the Bald Explorer group coming in here. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mandy. Did you just hear? I'm sorry, Gaz is feeling rough as houses. I think he's got a bit of a cold. I've got a bit of a head cold. I've had a couple of days. It's unusual for me. My cold lasts about 5 seconds. But I might join us later on. Hello, Pauline. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. That's great. Very good. Thank you. Good. Glad to hear that, Dave. So I don't know how well I'm going to do on for the time being, but what we're going to do, we had a special guest on today, which was going to be Richard Case, the Ghost Challenger, who I've known for a couple of years now. We've had many interesting conversations about the paranormal, and I'm going to bring him on in a minute, and he's going to we're going to have a little chat. Okay, we were going to bring him on and interview him, but I think we'll have a little bit open up and make it a little bit more interactive. Even we'll try and come in when the kids are in bed. Thanks, Nate. Thank you, mate. On holiday in Kidwelly, so it's a bit hectic. I bet. Oh, how lovely! Kidwelly, is that Ireland? Or excuse me if I'm being completely ignorant here. Do let me know. Oh, wow, lovely. Oh, holidays. I remember holidays. That's great. Well, hello, Andrew. Andrew's here from Croatia. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Okay, so if you know, Wales. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it near Port Merion at all, where The Prisoner was filmed? Thank you, Wales. Of course. Sorry. My geography is usually pretty good. I've only been to Wales twice in my entire life. So I'm sure you'd all like to welcome, please, a round of applause. I'm going to bring in Richard Case, the Ghost Challenger, into the chat. And welcome, Richard Case. Here he is.
Hello, Mark, and hello, everyone. In Kidwelly, I think that's a very nice place to go, actually. Hello.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a sort of head coldy thing, flu-y thing. Not that, but just feeling a bit under the weather. So So what was I think so. Welcome, Richard.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. So we might do things a little bit slightly different today. As we're talking, I'll be going through the comments and seeing. Make sure we're live on all the platforms. Yep. And on YouTube, got to check the old YouTube. Yep, live on YouTube. I've got Gaz's profile picture there, but he's not here. Cool, that's fine. So, Richard, if you'd like to give us sort of, how did you, I don't think I've actually asked you, how did you get interested in the paranormal? Because you're a paranormalist and you're sort of a folklorist as well, interested in folklore from around the world. Could you travel the world? Which is fascinating. Well, and a very good photographer as well, I may add.
Well, it's strange, really, because when I was very young, my grandfather told me loads and loads of ghost stories, and I loved it. I loved to be scared as a child. And I always had a kind of, I don't know, a real interest. In fact, what I will say, my granddad was called Francis Brewer, and I've looked on, going back on Ancestry.com, and there is a guy called Brewer who was a witch going back in time that lived around the area my granddad did. So I'm trying to find out if there's any connection. He used to wear colourful jackets. So if anyone's seen me with my shirts sometimes on Facebook, they'll probably know that I like colourful shirts. No, going back to childhood, I think it really started when my grandfather told me the stories and I got really interested. But the other interesting thing is I was brought up in a completely opposite to all this. My step family were in the Salvation Army, so on a Sunday evening I would be dragged along to something completely different, and it was religion. And I always questioned as a child. I used to think, why do they believe in this? Because I don't really believe it. If I was in China, I'd believe in something completely different. If I was in another country, I'd have a totally different beliefs. So I said, it's because we've been brought up that way and we're almost brainwashed into it. And I used to cause all sorts of controversy in the Salvation Army because they say, don't question it, just believe it, And I kind of found out, don't want to be like a Jeremy Kyle type show, but I found out that my real father was nothing to do with it, and that was probably why I had no interest. But I got interested in why people believe in what they believe in. So I like the psychology of belief, and so it kind of went with religion and went with ghosts and went with folklore. And I thought, why don't I challenge it? Why don't I look at why people believe it and see what they believe in and try and look at it from a psychological, historical, cultural perspective? And that's what I find fascinating, is just doing it that way.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Because, I'm an atheist. People say, how can you investigate ghosts and be an atheist? Well, I'm atheist to religion. I'm not atheist to spirituality or people's beliefs. Sure. That's interesting about beliefs you were saying, because what a belief is something you can't take away from something. We've all got our own beliefs on things. People say, do you believe in ghosts? I said, well, my first question always is, do I believe in ghosts or do I believe in spirit? They're two separate things. I think. I say, well, I say yes, because I've seen stuff. Not seen stuff, but experienced stuff that I think what can give it a little bit of credit. You do need, just saying I believe something without any evidence whatsoever is very hard, but you can't take that personal. I mean, for some people, a lot of people, religion is very, very important in their lives.
It is, yeah.
But as you quite said, the thing that lets it down is why, because you have to be born in a certain place around the world, that you have to adopt that religion. If you're in America, you're more likely to be Christian. Yeah. But if you're born in Afghanistan, hot topic at the moment, you're going to be Muslim. Yeah. It just happens to be a process of where you were born.
It is
mainly.
Yeah. And I'm very much a skeptic, though, Mark, because everything I've experienced, I can just about explain still. So I'm quite hard on that. I've not yet really experienced something that's convinced me 100% that life goes on after we die. So I will say that to the listeners. And, I still question it very much. I've had some amazing things happen to me, but I can say, well, it could be this, it could be that. And that always kind of puts a doubt on it. But I do agree with you when you say about ghosts and spirits being two different things. I think that is what sometimes people don't understand, and I think spiritualism is a very, very, I'd probably go more to spiritualism than religion, than an organized religion. And I think I tend to lean towards Buddhism and that kind of thought. I find that very good because that almost goes close with psychology as well. So,
because Buddhism is more a philosophy than a religion, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I mean, all right, they do have the Dalai Lama, who they reckon is a reincarnation, like a Time Lord. And that's the only thing that's a bit out there. But I'm not saying that's not the case. People believe. Something you said just now was very interesting. And guys, who jump in the comments, please do. We very much like your feedback on this. I believe, I've said only last week, I keep saying it, I don't think consciousness is non-local. I think we're part of a universal consciousness. Have I got any proof of that? None at all.
Sure.
But I follow some interesting thinkers, scientists, who no one can explain consciousness. No one's tried. We've tried and we can't. And I do think it's non-local. We're like transmitters just passing through. So yeah, but have I got any evidence to show that? No. But when you meditate or maybe do extreme breath work, which I do, sometimes you have some quite interesting experiences, you know. Good evening, Sally.
Because Dr. Susan Blackmore, she's very well known as a psychologist, and she's done a wonderful book on consciousness. And you're right, at the moment, there's no real scientific explanation for consciousness, you know.
No.
And you know, it's still open to debate. And I've not actually meditated, but a lot of friends that I know who have done meditation have, you know, told me similar experiences. So, you know,
I love meditating. Yeah, I do it quite regularly. Well, try and do it every day now. And some breath work, a bit of the old Wim Hof method and all that kind of thing. Hello, Sheena. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you. Spiritualism over religion, definitely. One has evidence. Yeah, I think you're there. I mean, I follow people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, who are sort of what you call new thought, new thinkers. A lot of scientists come around. Rupert Sheldrake, people like that. Yeah, amazing guy. They're banned TED Talk on consciousness. What do you call it? The morphic resonance field.
He was.
They're the unified field. Is the universe conscious?
Yeah, it was funny how they banned that on TED, and then they sort of apologized to him and put it back on. You know, because
and now got a few million hits. You know, as Graham Hancock, who I follow as well, he says quite happily, you know, he's not an archaeologist, but he thinks the spark for modern humans was psychedelics when we discovered ayahuasca and things like that. And I've talked about ayahuasca a little bit before.
There's a lot of work at the moment with psychedelics that's happening at the moment. And a lot of people have said with psychedelics is that when a person dies in the hospital, you know, we often pump them with morphine and all these horrible drugs and that. And I know one was saying, you know, if we give them a psychedelic or something where they'd have a much more meaningful experience when they pass over, it would be more kinder to those people. So there's a lot of debate.
How fascinating is that? That's fascinating. Yes, absolutely. I'm very much into science. Sorry, I've never taken a psychedelic. I would love to go out to the street and do DMT and ayahuasca. With, you know, that's still on the cards. I'd love to experience that. You've got to be in the right frame of mind to do it, because it's powerful. It's the most powerful hallucinogen there is. It's a plant medicine. It's not a drug. It's the problem with the modern world now. Everything's a drug. It's not. It's a plant medicine. It should be used to help mental illness and people with trauma. You know, it's proved that time and time again. I think people see things when they're either tired, unwell, I've been smoking and drinking a lot. I wouldn't know what you mean. I like a glass of red wine, dear, but I don't get drunk. Oh, God, no. So, yeah, it's an actual...
Well, that's interesting what they said. I mean, obviously, when we do talk to people, we often say, you know, what were you doing at that time? But we often have to have faith in that person that they weren't, you know, heavily drunk or whatever. But we do often ask them, you know, and say, what was your state of mind? What were you doing? And there are credible people. I mean, even the royal family apparently have seen ghosts. So, you know, not saying that they're not drunk when they're seeing ghosts, but...
Yeah. And there's another thing, but going back to ghosts now, I'm quite a fan of plant medicines. But, you know, how do I know? I think my friend Mandy pointed out, if you're still in the chat room, Mandy, pointed out, how do I know, or other people know, that you haven't seen a ghost? You might not have been aware of it. If it's a busy, you're walking down the high street or something like that, something passes you by, you don't give it a second thought.
Well, but the interesting thing is everyone has it, they're dressed in Victorian clothes, and they're dressed in old style clothes, and I've had that conversation with somebody saying to me, well, how do we haven't seen a modern ghost, you know, walking by? Because somebody I know was a security guard at an old Air Force base, and they were stood there, and suddenly, just like you and I, person walked in, you know, not transparent or anything, just solid, walked in, said, I'm just going off to the plane, old chap. So he thought the language is a bit, and he said, okay. And he went, and he thought, well, there ain't no planes out there. And friends come over and said, oh, you've just seen the ghost. He's solid. I've seen him as well. As solid as anything. So that's a story I was told, and several people witnessed that. So
that's fascinating.
It is.
What's next? What if this is the illusion, and when we take the hallucinogenic, we see the real world? Well, Nath, that's my reasoning. That's my reasoning. You know, are we living in a matrix? And even
Well,
say this is not sci-fi. You know, some people say the Matrix actually is not really a science fiction film; it's a documentary.
but it's true, because I mean, what we see is not, you know, is an illusion. A lot of what we see, you know, what the brain, you know, sees, color and everything, it's sound, you know, a lot of it can be just purely an illusion. So, you know, what is going on, you know? So,
I think the scariest ghost story I've ever heard happened in Mitcham Common. Oh yes, I think I've heard about that. But once again, it's that scare thing again. What? No, I don't want to be scared. I'm not interested in being scared. I have been spooked. I want to know what's going on. You know,
that's the thing when I do the ghost challenge, because people say to me, I don't understand the name Ghost Challenger. And I say, well, I'm not there to challenge. I'm challenging, is it a ghost? That's why I called it that name. And when I'm left on my own in a building, I'm not there to get scared, you know. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek with that one. But I went to one place and somebody said, I thought I heard a swishing dress upstairs. So I rushed up the stairs to look. And everyone's like, weren't you scared? I said, no, I wish I'd seen it, you know.
Yeah.
So you're right. You know, it's not about being scared, you know.
I mean, I still, you know, that's great. I mean, my friend Mandy still only happened a couple of years ago, not very long ago. To me, one of the best seeing a spirit, seeing an apparition witnessed by two people twice in the same day at the same location.
Yeah,
I still think that's one of the best I've ever heard. She is psychic, but that, you know, she's at work. She's not thinking about ghosts or anything. I still think that's an amazing story.
The thing that gets me, Mark, as well, is why people turn the lights out and it has to be dark. And you know,
I've been saying this all along. I'm sorry, Mandy. I'm bringing Mandy back into it, who I agree with. We did an investigation a couple of years ago, and we just brought the lights down. Just got into the atmosphere. Didn't need to be. Why are we in pitch black? You got a spirit ghost for whatever next to you. You're not going to see it. I don't understand that. I really don't. It does look good on camera. The
only weird thing that happened to me was I was in this old church, and the woman was in front of me, and she said, "I keep getting the name Mary," and I thought, well, she's never said this before. She's completely skeptic, so that was interesting. And suddenly I heard this voice out in the graveyard, and I called out, and there's a voice, and he said, looking for a grave. It might have been looking for a grave or looking for my grave. So I joked with her and said, oh, that's interesting. So we went out, and there was an old chap out there with a painting under his arm. So you think this is 3 a.m. in the morning. I'll tell you why that isn't so unusual, because next door we did have the you know, people, dementia home. So, you know, it could easily have come from there. So as I walked him back, I said, what's the painting about? And he said, oh, that's the Virgin Mary. I carry it with me everywhere. So then I thought, that's a bit weird, because she kept saying she had the name Mary. Now, we walked him back to the house, and the nurse came out to let us back in the house. And normally we go there just to have a toilet or whatever. And she said to us, oh, do you want the toilet? And he went past. And as I shut the door, I said, no, that's okay. I just brought him back. My friend said to me, did you notice they hardly noticed this guy? And I said, how do we know we haven't? You know, how do we know we haven't been walking with a ghost, or we've seen an apparition? You know, just like you and I.
Yeah,
and I've
exactly.
had a conversation.
Fascinating. Let's look at some of the comments here. We've got Sally. I'm a security guard. I spent a night shift in a haunted house. Didn't see anything, but heard lots of noises. As I say, you know, I'm seem to be a lone voice. I don't think anywhere's haunted. I don't like that word. I don't use it.
I find that very interesting.
I think it's everywhere. It's everywhere. We've got to get out of this mindset of haunted places and haunted this, haunted that. In my personal opinion.
No, I quite agree. I mean, you told me that, Mark, some time ago, and I didn't really, you know, at first I didn't take it on, but then the more I've thought about it, the more I think you're right, because you know, you can be in your home and something can happen, and you can be anywhere. And somebody said, and the other thing I hate is when people say, was it an old property you went to? You know, it was a modern.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, no difference whatsoever. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. I do think differently to most paranormal investigators. I think we're just stuck in this old.
Well, we're saying about
orbs, the wording.
We were talking about orbs as well. We were talking about that.
Oh yeah, I got into a little bit of some chap was in the uprising in Nath. You saw it. Get a little bit upset with me because I was saying orbs aren't paranormal, and you know, and I said, I respect your decision. Well, I don't think you do respect my decision. I went, oh, whatever. I can't be having a debate I would have had in 2006, in 2021. No. You know, I'm so jealous of I'm so jealous of so many people's sightings. I feel like I get a better understanding of something if I've seen it myself. Yeah. Nath, you come out with such smart comments. I totally agree with you, mate.
Totally agree, Nath. I think that's what I feel. You know, I get very disappointed, you know. And then there's the theory that maybe certain people see things and other people don't. And, you know, we go back to you know, clairaudience, clairsensitive, and, you know, maybe I mean, I felt a lot when I was young. You know, I'd go in a particular room. I stayed at a house, and the family were lovely. They looked after me when my mum was ill, but there was a particular room I didn't want to go near. So I did have that as a child, that I felt I don't like it there. I don't know why that is. You know, there's something.
I think that's maybe a primitive defense mechanism. We all feel that. We go into. I fence energies. I know it's that horrible word, energies, but I do fence, especially if I'm out dowsing and things like that. But it's good when you don't. I think I said last week I was in Hampton Court last year, just having a walk around. I'm there to look at the history. I'm a bit of a love history, but I went into Henry VIII's chamber above the main church area in Hampton Court, and nearly was knocked over by the energy in there. Came out all gone. I thought, all right, let's test that again. Went back in, wash, came back out. It's fine, you know. And I wasn't even thinking about it. I knew I was in what they call a haunted corridor. That's got nothing to do with it. I just was not expecting it.
The nearest thing you can explain is when someone buys a house and they get that feeling, oh, this house is okay and that house is not okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's good. That can be a selling point. You know, I'm feeling comfortable in here, or I'm not feeling comfortable in here. You know,
that's
the 5 HTP serotonin main filter is interrupted by other filters, so we can see more of the spectrum of reality. Oh God, can you imagine that we actually did see the whole spectrum of the multiverse? Oh yeah, I sound a bit crap, the multiverse, but I know exactly, Rick. That's fascinating.
And this is the thing, you can't, you know, because we can't see the full spectrum of reality. You know, this is why, you know, we can't always get the answers, and we're still questioning. And will we go on questioning forever and ever? You know, I believe that, you know, maybe one day somebody may come up with a way that.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I think we're all going to find out one day what's going on.
But what I don't like is the gadgets they use now. That's
the
gadgets. A lot of the gadgets. Oh. You know, the ghost spots on
don't get me started on ghost spots.
It's awful. I mean,
it just makes a bloody racket, if anything else. You know, and people,
it does.
And these videos where they're I'm having a bit of a rant here. I don't mean to. They do these videos. A lot of YouTubers now getting back. There's a lot of paranormal YouTube channels now come back. There's been a bit of a resurgence, and it's all about them getting scared. They seem to have a demon in every single video. And if they do use a ghost box, they put the caption up what they think they can hear, as opposed to you trying to work out what you think you might hear. To me, I can hear Radio 1. That's all I can hear.
I got in trouble for that because I turned around and made a comment and said, you know, you've put the caption up, so that's already in people's minds.
Exactly.
And because of that, I was torn to pieces. And I thought, well, all I'm doing is poo-pooing on your parade, really. You know, I'm sort of like saying what you don't want to be said, because, you know, it's all about clickbait and getting people, and no real interest, you know, sometimes in the paranormal. You know, but I mean, I don't dislike, how can I put this? Most Haunted, all these TV shows, I look at them as just pure entertainment. You know, I
don't even watch them anymore. I don't watch them anymore.
I mean, I don't watch them, and when people say about it, I say just don't take them seriously. They're not proper researchers. They're there just for entertainment, and that's what you've got to look at. You know. I
occasionally watch, you know, some old episodes just for sort of nostalgia, really. You know, but it's not serious. Story of the ghost on Mitcham Common, which is just not far from me. It's a story of the ghost boy on a bike in the early 90s. The witness said the apparition made no sound, turned around to him frowning, and rode across the pond without sinking into the night. Yeah, I've heard about that.
I've not heard about that one. So
that's down my way, down in South London. Well, no, I don't say South London. I say North Surrey. North Surrey. Maybe haunted refers to those phenomena that replay over and over again.
Very true, man.
Yeah, because maybe conditions in that particular place. Because I've always said the reason we don't see, I think me and Gaz have already talked about this. It's just a theory. The reason we don't see ghosts of Neanderthal man, although Mandy did in she did in Wookiee Cave, but generally we only see apparitions. I'm talking about not spirit apparitions of the last maybe 1,000 years, probably. I think it's like a vapor trail.
I've heard
energy dissipates over time. That's why you say, oh, the energy in a battlefield must be so strong. Well, maybe it's not, because the energy is dissipated, like a plane in the sky.
Well, there's a thing where they say when you see half an apparition, it can be that it's different floor level, or it could be that it's starting to disappear the energy.
I mean, I can understand it in like asylums, mental asylums, because they're usually, even if they're built in the 1800s, they're quite recent buildings. And I always think they are. I'm not going to use the H word, the haunted word, but I think they're quite interesting places to do. Or even on the side, we've got a couple around our way. They're now modern buildings, but you can still walk around. Why can't you still walk around the site, even if they're modern housing?
Well, what I've tried and tested is I've taken people into buildings, and I've not told them any history. I'll never tell them history, and I take them in, And some of them I've fooled and said, there's nothing here, it's not really haunted, but, you know, see what you get. And I've tried different groups to see, and sometimes, you know, there is a problem when you put into someone's mind, oh, this is where someone was murdered, or this was where someone was, you know, this happened, and, you know, stuff like that.
I know people like Mandy and the late Alan, who we used to work with back in the day, wouldn't want to know anything about the property they're going into.
But
for example, sorry,
carry on.
And we did one of our episodes. We did, oh my goodness, where did we go? It was Bolbrook Castle in Kent, which we've done a couple of times. Beautiful old building. I think they've converted it into flats now. And, you know, it's probably one of Henry VIII's hunting lodges. So they really play on the Henry VIII thing. You probably visited there once, you know, and it's where he also courted Anne Boleyn there. There's no evidence for that whatsoever.
Yeah, usually the way.
Yeah, but it's a lovely Tudor building, beautiful Tudor building. But the person that Alan was picking up on was a chap from the 1920s who refurbished the property. And we had to go researching it, and we did find that chap. We had to look a bit, but we found him eventually.
That is,
you know, that's the way. Mandy does that as well.
That's usually the way, you know. People go into these historical buildings, and it's always, oh, is it Henry VIII, or is it this, or is it that, and you get something completely different, you know, which it probably is, you know.
Yeah,
it's probably
Hever Castle, you know, the childhood home of Anne Boleyn. Yes, it was a childhood, but she lived in France for quite a few years as well. Why would she be there? You know, it never occurred to me until you said it, Mark. It's how can some people claim to make contact with loved ones, etc., and they then claim the spirits of prisoners will be stuck in a prison. Why wouldn't they leave? So I agree, spirits could be everywhere. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we go because that's going back to non-local consciousness. Are our beings, our actual energy, going somewhere else? And this is just a small little light. This is nothing compared to what's really out there.
Why do people go to haunted go to graveyards? Why do they
bizarre. I mean, why would you go to a graveyard? To me, I think it's a bit disrespectful, personally.
Oh yeah, I do, and I've done an article on that, and I got a lot of.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's I mean, I've never understood that. That's somewhere we should leave alone. You know, it's a resting place for people. Have you seen the video "Ghost Show Closing Doors" at Hampton Court in 03? Yes, it was debunked. Debunked many times. I've debunked it. Yeah, it wasn't a ghost. It's interesting footage, Jamie. Don't get me wrong, but that's been debunked. Oh, spirit boxes.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Roy, I really despise them. I think Mark does.
Absolutely.
There is a very good lady called I got to think of her name, Annabelle Cardozo, who's in Portugal, and she does electric voice phenomena the traditional way by just tape recorder and that, you know, and I got a lot of respect for her. But spirit boxes, I mean, you put in the, you know, people say to me, oh, can you hear the conversation? I'm saying, well, I mean, I can play something to somebody and it's a load of gobbledygooch, right? And they say, can't hear what it's saying. And then when I tell them what it says, they can all hear it. And I'm saying that's exactly what spirit boxes are. You know, they're doing exactly the same thing.
Go with pattern. There's a great Christopher Hitchens once said, I love Christopher Hitchens. He said,
he's brilliant.
We're pattern seeking mammals.
Yeah.
You want to find patterns in everything. That's why a lot of conspiracy theories, I think, fall apart, especially on ancient aliens.
Evolutionary psychology is very, very good thing to follow, and a lot of what anthropologists do. I've got a lot. I like Richard Dawkins, you know.
I do. I've changed my opinion. I think he is one of the most brilliant scientists we've ever had, but he's very close-minded.
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, I think that's also. I mean, I got a lot of respect for Chris French.
Lovely. Yeah, Chris French.
Anomalistic psychology is love it, you know. But sometimes I think Chris will, you know, sometimes be that it isn't than it is, you know. And I try not to be like that. I know when you spoke on Ghost Club, that was fantastic. They mentioned Andrew Green. The old, you know, and Andrew Green's way of doing it was he'd go on go to an investigation, and he would go that I'm not actually here looking for a ghost or anything like that. I'm here to see why the noises are made, but not jumping down that this is going to be paranormal or anything like that. And I think that's the approach everyone should make, you know, when they do it.
Yeah, I agree as well. Spirit boxes, and I haven't done any. Don't mention that, Roy. Don't mention spirit boxes. Just say we've got 22 watching. Thank you. 5 loves. Thank you very much. That's good. We're growing. We're growing. Nath. Ghost Spot, you mean Ghostbox is going to use EMF and a dictionary of phrases. Who sat down with the spirit and agreed on the translations? Thank you.
Yeah.
He's smart, that guy. You know, you're a smart guy. The Hampton Court door opening ghost was a publicity stunt. How would a ghost know how to use the bars on an emergency? Thank you, Michael. Very good point. Very good point. Oh, yeah, there's the exit. I must go down that way. Absolutely. People just so quickly to believe stuff without any.
I think a lot of that is they want to believe. You know, some people are so desperate to believe that it'd be anything. Imprint decay.
I like that. What do you mean by that, Rick? I think I know what you mean. You talk about apparitions or consciousness? Imprint decay.
Is that apparitions?
I've said this before. You guys are you guys who join us every week. You're so smart with your comments. Really smart comments. Most Haunted is fixed. So I can't call about Most Haunted. I know many people who worked on that program, so I better be quiet.
I know a few, and they're great people, you know, but they're no longer working.
They've been good to me in the past when I show my videos on the Unexplained channel. So I was very grateful for that. Yeah. The connection to the Ghost Boy is thought to be a young car-shortened boy called Lenny who drowned at the pond in 1939 while swimming with his friends. Okay.
It's interesting,
yeah.
I'm going to have to look that one up, actually.
Yeah, it's literally a mile down the road from me. It's amazing. It's the common, like most commons, are very ancient lands. That's interesting. Thanks for that, Jamie.
The problem we have there is, though, you have a lot of people saying, oh, this happened on a certain date and this has been haunted, and everyone goes there thinking, right, we're going to see a ghost, and it could be one-off time that it's been seen, you know, and that's it forever. You know, and that's often the case.
I mean, like as Mandy just said, a bit like the 1950s when we did the cage in Essex, which is a very hyped place. But poor old man was getting really, really emotional and upset. But just picking up this family.
Did you see that, Mark, when I did my solo in the cage? I was there.
Yes, I've seen clips of that. Yes,
that was an interesting. I mean, I am changing the Ghost Challenges format because I wasn't happy with it, and I thought, you know, it was getting more and more like. It happens, you know, people saying like, you know, shout out for this, shout out for that. I want to get more into the knowledge, the education, you know, I want to get away from these shows that do that.
When we did White Webb's Museum of Transport in North London, fascinating museum for old. That was about 10 years ago. Mandy, I don't think you joined us. We did it twice there. Did you join us for the second one? But the chap who ran it was a lovely guy, who one of the volunteers there. In a break, we were having a break, and he was quite taken back. He said, I thought you'd all be coming in going, is there anybody there, and all that. He said, you're just having a chat. You know, hello, who's here, please? You know, and I really took that as a compliment, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen your old way of investigating, and that is brilliant. That's how it needs to be done. Yeah,
it is. We never. That's why we never got a lot. Well, we still back in the day we had a little bit of sort of scares, whatever you want to call it. But we're just doing honestly. We're not into scares. But we do get spooked. We do get spooked.
What I never understand is when you look at some of these groups and they've got like, I don't know, 39,000 followers and it's all about scares, and I think it's a load of rubbish. You know,
I know that's what people want. People don't want serious investigations.
Well, it was Harry Price that said that people believe the bunk to the debunk, and it stayed like that ever since.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's very, very interesting. I look at YouTube, but half of people don't know who Harry Price is. Well, actually, probably most of them don't know who Harry Price is.
They won't. They won't.
No.
And they don't know the Society for Psycho Research. They don't even know of that organisation or the Ghost Club. A lot of them don't know what that is either.
You know, been going for a couple of century and a half now. You know. Dave. Hello, Dave. Mark, did you ever get to visit Knowlton Church, Dorset?
No,
Church. I know of it. I know you told Dave. I know you told me about the video, and that is on my. I really want to go and see that, and it's fascinating. A church in the middle of a Neolithic henge. Yeah, it's beautiful down in Dorset.
That'd be lovely. I've heard of that one.
Yeah,
that's
on my destination list.
Yeah.
Didn't Alan say he contacted the girl who's been crossing the Caterham bypass and she died in the 1920s? Yes, he did, while trying to cross that road before it came to bypass. That's correct, yes. It was a very cold night that was, 10 years ago, I think it was. Lovely Alan, who's no longer with us, unfortunately. Yes, but he did a good reading.
Another thing, Mark, that's quite interesting. When you talk about that, up where I am, there's Chew Valley Lake, and they got the Girl of the Lake that's been seen. And people have said, well, why have I never seen her? And I went out there on my own one night, and I stopped there in the car and just looking to see what happened. And there's hardly any traffic that time of night. So, you know, when people say, well, I never saw nothing, you know, it was the early hours, and it was multiple witnesses that saw something. And I think I think it was Mandy that said about it comes at certain dates and anniversary and that. I mean to go back on that date, but often when people don't see anything, it's because they're not around, or out at that particular time of night, or
well, if it is a certain time of once a year or something like that, that goes back to what we were talking about last week. We'll come to the comments in a minute. I was going to say this thing because it still blows my mind. Gaz did this to me. How does gravity interact with an apparition? Because if it's an anniversary ghost apparition, maybe as the Earth is doing the orbit, it comes back round and bomb. So that apparition is probably in space. Yeah. But then again, if gravity is an issue, that apparition is going to move with the Earth. I'm probably blowing people's minds here at the moment. Because
I'm kind of on the. It did cross my mind. I couldn't put it quite as you did, but I've often thought that with anniversary ghosts and things like that.
Bury Pond White Castle near me is supposed to have some strong energy. It's owned by the Seymour. Yeah, beautiful castle. Beautiful castle.
Lovely castle there.
Yeah, and I think most people paranormal are interested in history as well, so that's absolutely fascinating. Yeah, this is going rather well. Annabella is our patron, guys. Hey, what?
Annabella
is our patron? Are you talking? Are we having another conversation? Sorry. We've got 20 watching, fluctuating sort of between 20 and 24. Thank you very much. Let's go through some of these comments. We've got quite a few comments here. Years ago, one of the wardens at Hampton Court had a heart attack when one of the ladies in the Great and Favour apartments came out in her white nightdress looking for a cat. Oh,
grief!
So could that trauma? Oh, that's interesting. Great and Favour. That's interesting.
So that was a normal person coming out in a white dress. That
is that what you mean? Sorry.
Yeah.
When one of the ladies in the Great and Favour apartments came out, so was that an apparition that came out?
No, she was thinking. Probably they were thinking it was.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
With these messages, they cut your head off a bit. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. I look so pale. I haven't got the great lighting here, but Rich is looking fantastic. We are doing a lot of work alongside Arabella Cardozo.
Oh, Annabella Cardozo, I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I'm going to go over to Portugal to meet her. She is wonderful.
I'm going to make a note of that name and have a look. I don't know the lady.
Electronic Voices is the book she's written. I highly recommend it.
Because that's something we're going to do a big show on as EVP. In all my years I've been doing this, I've not done much EVP, and I wish I'd done a little bit more. I'm still can.
Annabella would willingly come on. I think she's fantastic. If you want to ask her, she's on my Facebook. So yeah,
brilliant. Okay, I might talk to you about that. If we can get her on, that'd be really interesting. Because we're trying to get more guests on as well, like your good self, who's sort of co-hosting at the same time as well. I mean, we've got a couple of people coming up. We've got a big guest coming on, which is we talked about end of last week's show, UAP witness, which is quite a very famous case. So that's happening in September. We've got a parapsychologist coming on. I won't say who these people are yet, but just to make sure it's all. Wasn't there today? I drove it up twice. Nath. Love Richard Dawkins until he made the comments he did about kids with Down syndrome, as my son has Down. So
Nath.
What did he say about Down? Oh,
I don't know. I heard something on it, but it's awful. I mean, if you got children with Down syndrome, that's it's upsetting. But I don't know the full. But I heard something on it. Yeah.
Oh gosh, no, I didn't know that. I know sometimes he does come out with odd comments, but I'm still a Dawkins fan. Bet you're interested in evolution and biology.
Well, I think when you look at Darwin, I mean, Darwin said a few questionable things, which there's no tact or empathy to other people in it, and when you've got, I mean, I've friends got Down syndrome, so I understand completely what he feels.
I can totally understand that. Yeah. Oh right, no, I wasn't aware of that. I'm sorry. Julie's been seen during night. Oh, sorry, gone back. What have I done there? Oh, I've lost. I've lost. I've lost Richard. Where's he going? I think his internet's gone down. She's been seen during the night. It's always at night when they go to scene, isn't it? We'll just wait for him to come back. So what we'll do, we'll go through a few of the comments here. Oh no, I'm flying solo. Oh, here he is. He's back. Keep an eye for. He's back.
Yeah,
there he is.
I forgot to say that sometimes does happen. My
I know
it's a signal, and then you're gone.
I use my laptop because where my main PC is, I've got the window there, and it looks crap. But it's still not great. But yeah, my PC decided to do a sort of system update about half an hour before we did the show. I went, oh, what great timing, you know. Let's go back to the comments. I remember a news story in a local paper in Epsom, down our way, when a family driving on the Ewell bypass on something very fast. Spring Hill Jack across the road in 2 seconds. I think, do I cover Spring Hill Jack in my book, Paranormal Surrey? Or did I just promote my book again? No, I really enjoy. Thank you for reminding me, because I'm very fascinated by Spring Hill Jack, and it's sort of, I've forgotten about it the last couple of years, so I'm going to look back into that. Must make a note of that. Emergency doors didn't exist when they were alive, 1500s. Yeah, exactly. Apparition decay over time, which is saying about my theory of that the energy dissipates. Yeah, decay. Actually, Rick, that's a much better way. Decay. Yeah, the energy decays. Never been there. Where haven't you been, Mandy? Where am I taking you? Where haven't you been? Hampton Court. If this boy dies swimming across the Carshalton Pond, why is his apparition on a bike? Yeah. I don't ever associate these apparitions with a tragic tale or something. No,
it's a good point. You know, why is he?
Yeah. Seven Islands Pond. Thank you, Jamie. Seven Islands Pond in Mitcham, Torre Lenny, was actually confirmed by his niece, who was born after the tragedy. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't. That's in the life. You rode bikes, Andrew, and why you ride in the same location you died. I'd like to know. Yeah. We never know for sure. I've heard of Harry Price. He lived at Borley Rectory for a short period. I've heard some of the GVA. I've said to people, I was saying to Gaz last week, I'm not really that interested in famous cases. You know, the Enfield Poltergeist, I have no interest in. I think it's been done to death. Excuse my French.
I'm exactly the same. I mean, one of the guys that I like from the past is Elliot O'Donnell.
I don't know him.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't heard of Elliot O'Donnell, and he was almost as famous as Harry Price, slightly before Harry Price, I think. But he wrote, I mean, some of his books were he was the old kind of version of, I guess, Most Haunted in the time when he wrote books. It was sensitive, you know, wanted to excite people and things like that. But a lot of his books are really good. And I followed his footsteps, and a lot of stuff that he's done is fascinating.
The apparition, also going back to yearly apparition sighting. The apparition couldn't be in space. The universe is expanding, and so I've never been in any of that place before. Yeah, but on our orbit, it hasn't really been that much difference. Yes, that's another. Oh, I'd love to get into conversation about universe and cosmology, but I don't think it's really paranormal. That's science. But we've touched upon it a couple of weeks ago. I think I'm fascinated by
quantum physics and all that is very interesting. Mind blowing, but yeah.
Chew Valley's ghost girl was Catherine Brown. She drowned at a mill near her home, which is now under the lake.
Jamie, can I just say on that, with the Catherine Brown, I know the historian, and that there was no record of a Catherine Brown drowning at the mill, so that's questionable about Catherine Brown.
I don't know this story.
It's the real historian that's looked at it couldn't find any history, so we're still out to wonder what's going on there.
Yeah. She was the Queen's cousin. Okay. Classic torch under the chin look, Mark. Are people missing potential cases by doing a lot of venues?
I agree.
Question.
Roy, I think 100%.
Question, Roy.
I think 100%.
You know, I work in a potentially active location.
Can I just say, Mark, would you go to a lot of places like myself that aren't, you know, covered, you know, or this is haunted and that, you know, and I go to a lot of funny places, and I think Roy's right. We do miss a lot of potentially haunted places because, or places where, I mean, I know you said about haunting can be anywhere, but we're going to all these, you know, like people go to, I don't know, Jamaica Inn, places like that, and it doesn't interest me. And I'm not saying that Jamaica Inn isn't interesting, because it is. I know Kareem Besant, who does a wonderful job down there, CJ Simmons and that lot. They do a wonderful job, and there's a lot of history there. But I don't like a lot of these places that are well known. Kelvedon Hatch, have you?
I've done it 3-4 times. Yeah.
I mean,
why that? I mean, I'm not saying haunted, but why would a nuclear bunker have be a place to investigate for paranormal? We did have quite an interesting, which we discussed in last week's show, with a phone going off, which wasn't attached to any.
Well, I had a lot of interesting things going on there, and I was in the tunnel, and I was all by myself in there. But then maybe that's going back to what you said about places aren't particularly haunted, you know, or you know, it's that maybe it was something you were picking up from somewhere else at the time. You know, your energy was bringing that in. There's always that kind of thought, you know, process.
Oh, that's interesting. You saying that. We have touched on that before. Yeah. Are we, if we're there with the right intent? I say that quite a lot. The right intent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're trying to draw something in, like a magnet, law of attraction kind of thing. Yeah. But for spirits.
Well, I went to a old hotel, and I said to everyone, "Can we ask, please, if the light flickers where the nun was?" And everyone was saying, "Please flicker, please flicker." And the light flickered, and I wonder if it was us that were making the light flicker, or it was actually the whatever's there.
You've just opened a real can of worms there. That is fascinating. I've never thought about that before. When you're looking phenomena, you do get phenomena. Is it actually us and our psychic ability, our latent psychic ability, that's making things happen and got nothing to do with spirit? Comments on that, guys? That is really Richard. Oh, that's up there with Richard, Gaz saying last week about gravity and apparition. Oh yeah, your bypass site. And frightening to think that at the same time I did work at the Nescott farm. Once again, you're frightened though. Why is everyone frightened?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, if I saw a ghost, of course I would. But also I want to know a bit more, because that, to me, if you see an apparition or something, or a real good contact with spirit, that's life changing. Surely
it is.
That's life changing.
I would say it would be. Yeah.
It's like when I'm going to go back to ayahuasca again, but someone does a DMT trip, or with the plant medicine. How can you then just come back? You've had a really insightful experience. It's life changing. How can you then come back, get up at 8 o'clock, go to work? You know?
Yeah.
Forgotten. You've forgotten where you talk. Hampton Court? You've been to Hampton Court, haven't you, Mandy? Don't get us started on quantum mechanics. We'll ramble on for hours. We'll have to get together for a drink and discuss it. Oh, God, can you imagine that? No. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, I mean, we might do something on science, because it still sort of falls into. I'm just really interested in it. After Karen had been missing for a few hours, the whole village was searching for her when she was seen by her mother turning up at home wet. But when they checked later on, they found she wasn't at home and she'd already died. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that story, Jamie. I've heard that story, and it's it's quite. I mean, the people that have seen the apparition have said that they saw it transparent and looking very wet, as if she had just drowned. And a lot of people saw that. And that was interesting. There was one guy I interviewed, and he was an old police officer, and he said to me, all I know is what I saw that night, I will never forget. So that was very interesting when he gave that kind of story. He had nothing to gain by saying it. He was completely shaken by what he had seen.
Sorry, Randy's comment.
Yeah, sure.
Think of it like The Shining. When we call out to make contact, we are like a beacon of spirits. So you're saying like a magnet. Yeah,
that's interesting, Andy.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. Really, and so that coupled with the right intent, and I think your right emotional state. I think that's very important. Emotion is a real strong magnet. What you're calling out for your brain is electric, but what you're feeling is magnetic.
Well, I found it often. You go to a place with people that have got no interest, they're completely closed to it all, and nothing happens. And then you go with a lot of people that are very open to it, and things are starting to happen. And it's not imagination, because you're all kind of witnessing something and thinking, what is this? What is it us that are, because we're more open, or, there's something to be said.
I think we need to look at next time we go out. Mandy, next time we go out, we'll look into doing some experiments with that, because that's a really nice way of looking at it. I like that. Never seen any haunted vegetables. Richard here is the Veg Growers podcast. He does a little allotment, some lovely fruits and veg. Now
lovely.
But why don't they're organic? They're living things. Why don't you see? Well, maybe we do see. Adding to Catherine's record missing it could have. Sorry, adding to Catherine's record missing it could have been lost during the war.
Very true, Jamie. I mean, I for 1 minute I don't poo-poo it and say that she didn't exist. I think that's very possible that it could be lost and that she did exist.
I think people get frightened due to stories of their favourite things, demons. Many people assume these things can hurt them. I know, but my actually, yes, I know some people. It's a very real thing. But you've been brought up religious and things like that. But it's more if any Americans, it's more an American thing.
I think it's a more of, I mean, I was brought up with, how dare you touch that? It's got the devil in it. You're going to burn in hell because you're looking into the paranormal, even though I'm a skeptic. And it's because they want to put the fear of God in you to try and get you to avoid.
But why would you want to? This is it. I'm not going to go down a religious conversation here, because everyone knows my views on religion. But most of my friends are pagan. They're lovely people. No dogma, no nothing.
So I find the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but why would anyone want to worship something they've got to fear? I've never understood that. If it's supposed to be a loving God, I'm talking about the Christian God. There's 2,500 gods in the last 5,000 years. So, take your pick. But why would you want to worship something you want to fear? I've never got.
No, I've never.
If it was a loving God, yes, that I'd understand.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, weird comments there, guys. Gaz hasn't got back to me, by the way, so he must have really crashed out. Bless him.
With Gaz.
Yeah.
We're all a bit. I mean, I'm like Mark. I'm getting a bit sniffly. I think we're all getting the sniffles at the moment.
Yeah, I was like, what's they going? Oh, and I say I don't even get colds, but I've had it for a couple of days. It's nothing major, but it's just like it'll go. Coughing too much talking me. Forgive me, everyone. So everyone, thank you very much for everyone for joining us. We've got 19 watching now. That's good. That's good. So yeah, with that, it's interesting to go back to what we were saying about YouTube. I mean, I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and it does seem to be just all scares, fear mongering, and scary.
There's also a lot of drama in the paranormal world where people are falling out, arguments, and there's clickbait to kind of get people. And I think it's a lot to do with the education or how educated the person is. They just love the kind of Jeremy Kyle type of let's all fall out and have an argument, and they use drama to kind of.
Well, I don't do a negative. Luckily, us, when we did Spiral Paranormal and all that kind of thing, we never really had a problem because we just did what we did.
I think I opened up to a lot of groups, and I've now got to a point where I'm very careful with my Facebook now, and I kind of interact with the people that are more academically minded with it. And can communicate in a more sensible way. Nate's group, Uprising and Paranormal Investigation, is one great group. Really nice. Yeah. I'm not saying that because he's watching, but it's a really good group. Even though that guy was having a bit of a pop at me the other day. Well, not having a pop, he's trying to point out that orbs could be paranormal. And I thought, a little bit was like, you know what? I've been doing this a long time, and I've not, I don't know any fellow paranormal investigator who even entertained the idea. One person said to me once that if you still believe orbs are paranormal, I'm talking about orbs in camera, not what you see with your visual. That's something different. But orbs, if you still think orbs are paranormal in camera, you get on camera, it's time you got a new interest. And there's all sorts of things, dust, pixels, everything else. But what I did once, I flicked a lampshade. I think I told you this, Mark. And I showed it to somebody, and they said to me, "That's your relative showing." I said, "No, it's dust." So
that's the other thing. They can see faces in these things. They see faces in the and that goes back to then you're a pattern-seeking mammal. Well, I see a fire engine. What do you see? Well, I can see a dog.
Well, that goes back to evolution as well, pattern seeking, because we were then aware of the predators and that. Keep the
bugs coming. I will, mate. I will. But the thing about Nate's group, just some really interesting questions they put on there. Some really good stuff on a lot on UAPs. We're really interested in unidentified aerial phenomena as well. The guy talking about orbs was even arguing on a post about the fact that they have been debunked completely. The reason I stopped because I was going to get a little bit rude because I thought you're not listening. I didn't really go into that much detail. I can't be bothered. I don't think I should have even commented in the first place. I don't do it. I haven't done it for years, but something just compelled me to go, orbs are not paranormal. And that was it. But a lot of people agree with me, but it's just, he did one thing he did say, which I did agree with. He said, so I didn't actually answer. He said, what else can you debunk then? And I thought, well, I'm not here to debunk, but if there's one thing in the paranormal field that has been debunked, it's orbs. Everything else is open to speculation.
Why do people think we're there to? It's almost like we're there to debunk because we want to pick on people that believe in the paranormal.
Yeah, that's not what it's about at all.
It's nothing personal. It's fact. It's orbs, as you say. It's been proven. Steve Parsons had a very good, fantastic, article on orbs.
Well,
And,
I posted that, and in the discussion with that chap, I posted Parascience is a load of old orbs.
yeah.
To me, that's the final word on the subject. And that was written, what, 2008?
Yeah.
You know, absolute final word on it. Oh, Mandy, should be maybe say orbs are 99 to 99% dust, insects, cobwebs, etc. Just get the piece. I can't. I think it's 100%. But as your psychic, what do you see lightning? Do you remember, Mandy, Alan's fascinating story, that major light when he first got his psychic powers, and that amazing light show he got at 4 o'clock in the morning in the back of the shop? Do you remember that? Have you ever told you that story? That was fascinating. But that was light orbs, but they were really, really bright, and it was constant for 3 hours.
You could actually physically see them, Mark. Those orbs you could see.
Yeah,
they weren't on a camera. They weren't on a photograph. You actually saw them visible in the place. Yeah, they're very interesting. Yeah.
No, even the photo companies issue statements saying because of the digital technology, they do create these things. I saw a comment and thought I knew exactly where I was going to go. Seeing a face in the cloud doesn't actually mean the sky is haunted, I guess. Exactly.
Very, very well said, Rick. Yeah, very well said. Yeah, pareidolia is another thing.
I never had one myself, but I have seen small lights. See, that's different. You've seen them with your naked eye. Yeah. That light show, I don't know. I mean, he did tell me that quite a few times, and every time I was pushing him for more detail, it's absolutely fascinating. It kept him up at night. It was spirit literally making contact with him, saying, "Hi, we're here."
Yeah.
And it lasted. I think it was for about 2.5 hours. It was absolutely nappy. He said, "I just wanted to go to sleep at the end," But yeah, about 4 o'clock in the morning, suddenly. I mean, Alan did suffer from insomnia anyway.
Yeah.
But he said I was wide awake, and it's an incredible show. I've been to that corner, and I felt a little bit. Oh, okay,
Well, we were in a church, and suddenly there was it was like a mobile phone lighting up in the corner, and it just lit up, and it was there for a long, long time. And I went over to it. Looked outside, it was raining, there was nobody shining anything through a window. Never explained it. It was really, really unbelievable when it just lit up like that. So
amazing.
But the problem with me is I am a hard skeptic, because I still say, well, it could have been this, it could have been that, so maybe I am too hard sometimes. I don't know.
Well, we all are, I think, because I think that's healthy. That's healthy, isn't it? Because
I think it is.
If you eliminate all what it could be, then you're left with the truth.
And what I say to the group that I sometimes go out with, I say, I don't go there with my skeptic head on. I go there with an open mind, Take care all. Have to shoot off. Take care, Sheena.
Cheers, Sheena. Take care. Keep your posts coming on Facebook. Really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, they are.
I'll be interested to know whether the new owners, tenants in the Allen shop, have experienced anything. No, do you know, I thought that. I drove past him, Mandy, the other day, and I looked at it. So I think it's a kitchen or bathroom shop now. But yeah, what would be? Do they feel it's like going into an active location? I say active, but what was on the site before? And do those people not being aware of anything?
It's so important to find out if that's still going on, but it's so difficult sometimes. I mean, I had a house that was haunted, and I've been so tempted, but I thought, no, that it would be unethical for me to knock on the door of the new people living there and say,
of course,
but it is very tempting, when it's a shop or as a business, just to find out if that is still occurring to completely different people. I mean, when I went to this area that I went with different people, and they were all getting the same experience in this one spot, and none of them had communicated with each other. So that was interesting.
It's interesting because, my granddad's house in Kilburn, I mean, obviously he passed away in 1981, but he passed away at his it's an old Victorian house, which he still rented right up until the day he died. He was offered to buy it, and we wish he had, because it's just on the market now for over £1 million. But, different things like that. But he passed, in that house. So we have people passing this house. So you think, is there energy still, as Mandy was saying, is it still attractive to saying we're still around, from that location? Or is it more to you personally?
There seems to be a new craze with cat balls. Have you seen that? Where they get these little balls that kittens move with their paws and they flash. And yes. And paranormal groups are going crazy about them. And I don't have a lot of faith in them, because I think maybe it's just going off because of movement, vibration. I will say one thing. I did go to a location where we had one of those items on the floor, and as we played a very well-known hymn, it suddenly was flashing and flashing and flashing. So that was a bit weird, that. But I find it so boring when I see these groups having the kitten balls on the thing. Are you there? Oh, it's flashed. Oh, do it twice. You know, tell me who you are. And they're probably going completely off the point of what actually is going on in that place. You know, they could be communicating just with, you know, with anything.
Oh, that thing with you, and I think I've actually said this by accident once when they go, if you're not here, please can you tap once? Yeah. We've all done that. We've all done that. Yeah. Richard, definitely come and join Uprising. Yes, Richard, go Uprising. I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
we'd love to see some of your other series on the paranormal. Yeah,
yeah.
I think Gaz might actually be burnt out from all of the conversation we've had this week about some of the close-minded people in the group. Yeah. Someone mentioned flat Earth and his brain exploded. Oh, well, yeah, we don't. I'm not allowed to mention flat earthers. Sorry, Gaz, get annoyed. I can't mention flat earthers. Was Alan Shop in North Stream? Yes, it was. Opposite the old, with they redeveloping it now, the old building offices. Yeah, just by the traffic lights. I've had a cat call for years, done not a thing.
I'm glad you said that, Sally.
Oh, brilliant. That's brilliant, Sally. I'm very skeptical about a lot of equipment. A lot of equipment. I think we're the best.
Yeah.
All right, second investigations. I'm a Dowsing rods and my camera, obviously my camera because I'm a filmmaker. And I'll just let Mandy do her thing. I mean, we went to Betchworth Castle recently. I'm going to put the link in here if you want to watch me later on. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, Mandy. Mandy just opening up, seeing what's there. Really, really interesting. We're hopefully going to go back when now it's getting a bit darker. Not that we need to do it in the dark, but we don't a lot of pollution and noise pollution. We're not far from a big busy road. And just do some little vigils and see what happens, We had a cat ball locked in the vault of St Mary in the castle behind the glass door, and it was flashing like a disco in response to questions. Very interesting. Okay, I don't know much about them. I've only very, very casually seen them.
I think it does intrigue me what's going on, because they shouldn't technically flash like that unless they're touched or moved, and if there's not a lot of vibration going around and not a lot of wind blowing it and stuff, then that is intriguing. Yeah.
But as Mandy said, I'm still the site you said, Mandy, goes along with the gravity. When we're out or we've got the right intent, is it us creating the situation and not spirit at all? I think that's really an intriguing with something we need to look into. Maybe do some experiments. We're going to do a couple of experiments with those cards, which we mentioned.
I told a team to concentrate on what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to get one of those cat balls in a very confined space, or maybe in a bucket, or even a glass in a bucket, and say, everyone concentrate. Can the glass be moved, and see if anything happens, where it's controlled. So that would be.
And say it did move. The problem there is now we wouldn't know if it was actually spirit or it was us.
That's the problem, isn't it?
We need stuff to happen where we have no physical contact on it.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to have a little think about. I think a lot of stuff like cat balls on their own aren't proof of anything. If you can get a few things at the time, then it goes more towards giving evidence.
Very true.
Around.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
If you've got a lot of things going on. I mean, I will say that the one thing I found interesting was the light bulb was glowing at this location, but what was interesting, the switch was off. So there was no connection. The switch was off and the light bulb was glowing as this was happening with the cat ball. So that by then I should be a believer, I should be like, well, there's something going on. But I was still thinking like you are, is it us that are influencing it? Is there that side of it? Does that happen? I asked that to Uri Geller when I met Uri Geller, and Uri Geller, it's like telekinesis, isn't it? And things like that.
Yes.
Is it us that are doing these things? And I think Uri Geller was kind of getting on that subject, it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I was talking about Uri Geller last week, and Gaz was having none of it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a spirit, but they could be coming from far and wide when we open ourselves up to communicate with them. If you say that's fine, man, because Mandy's psychic. So after that, over the last 13 years, she's come out with some incredible stuff. So she says it's spirit. That's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. That's building up trust with people. It's one of my good friends.
It's very important.
You build up trust with people. So she said that spirit, that's good enough for me.
Well, we've got a wonderful medium called Kim Scudamore, and I've known her for so long, and I've built up so much trust with her, and it's incredible. Yeah. That's.
I always find that's another thing I find interesting, Richard. We've been, I don't know how long we've known each other on Facebook, but the people about 10 years, 11 years ago, when some of my friends I'm still on Facebook friends with now, we did investigate with, they were psychic, they picked this up, they picked that up, they were getting possessed. But I look at that, when I see their profiles come up now in their news feed, nothing even remotely to do with psychic or paranormal. And I think, I'm sorry I'm going to say, I think they were faking it.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting. I'm not mentioning names, but
I don't want to mention names. I mean, I did have a medium that was going around saying this location, all these pictures were hung up with the relatives that died in the location, and the manager took me to one side and said, "I've just got to tell you this. We got them from B&Q or somewhere like that, or you know, somewhere." It's they're made up pictures. They're not.
Oh
real
no!
people. And I thought, well, I can't tell him this, you know. And
I bloody would.
Yeah. I have. So I have been truthful often with them. Yeah.
Oh, that is funny. That is really, really funny. Oh, thank you, Rick. Your dowsing vlogs are a great daytime paranormal interaction video. Thank you. Yeah, now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I will do something with dowsing. Dowsing, some people say, is nothing. It's just a natural energy, which I still think it is. But when I ask questions, who am I talking to? That's where I say everything's non-local. I'm talking to the ether. I'm talking to the unified field.
My great uncle's brother was a dowser, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting as a child to see what he could show me.
Even if you're looking for basic, just looking for water, you still got to have that intention, what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So where's that going to? You know, it's very interesting. You need to ask the spirits to kind of leave before you could do a controlled environment experiment. Yeah. Can you guys just exit the room, please, just while we do this? Oh, nice. I'd love to do an investigation with you. We'll work that something out. That'd be really good. Get us all together. Here's a theory. I think Gaz touched on it last week, that a lot of poltergeist activity happens around people like teenagers or toddlers who are going through great changes in their minds. So could they be the cause using telekinesis without knowing?
Very, very much interesting, because my stepdaughter went through a very bad teenage stage, and I'll never forget it. We had a bookcase in the other room, and the bookcase, she was so angry about something, you know, she couldn't go out. And one of the bookcases in the room did actually fall. And I joked with Sarah and said, "Oh, you know, that is like poltergeist, you know, the activity." So yeah, it does go on the telekinesis theory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what are we?
I think we're on investigation. I think, you know, all you guys, Mandy, Nathan, what you've been saying is opened up once again a whole new topic. Are we, you know, all right, once again, Mandy, you're psychic. You'll know if you'll see a spirit or you sense a spirit or not. But for us laymen, is our intent taking the, what's that, law of attraction again?
Yeah.
If you've got enough people and that telekinetic energy, oh gosh.
Well, I mean, law of attraction, how we can bring people down with negativity. Isn't it? I mean, if I say to a friend, "Oh, I've just had a bad week this week," and suddenly that person's really low, and then I say to another one, you know, it is so the influence and the
that's amazing.
It is.
I already post on my Facebook about things like experience. I know you don't. That's fair enough.
I think, Mandy, I agree with you. Sometimes Facebook is not always the best place. Only, I mean,
I've said to Gaz, I've not commented at all in the last year and a half. I'd probably lose my friends if I did.
Social media can be difficult because you get a lot of idiots on social media, and you know, it's always good to keep it within your friends and things like that. But you know, it is a difficult one sometimes to comment.
Have you ever seen anything strange happen at Wimbledon Theatre? Well, investing from a psychic point of view with both Mandy and, sorry, keep signaling out Mandy and Alan. They did a very good reading, or totally similar to what they've picked up on. Only once, years ago, I was in the crew room on a Sunday, just a youth group in the studio space, and up on the shelf there were these hard hats which we use for what we call get-ins for shows. And I looked up, it flipped up in the sky and fell to the ground. That's the only thing that's happened to me in 17 years there.
That must be a wonderful place to go. So I mean, I've done the Bristol Vic. I've done that one, but
that's one of ours. Yeah, it's one of ours. ATG. Yeah,
Bristol Vic. We did.
Our one's 1910, and before that, it was a Victorian doctor's surgery. Yeah. So, or Victorian house. You know. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Be interested in doing a dowsing Randonautica combo mark. Now, Rick, that will be interesting. Rick, where are you based? It's Randonautica is something else we've got to discuss. It's an app. Have you ever heard of Randonautica, Richard?
No.
It's an app. It's really gained traction in the last year and a half. Came out January 2020, and it's an app you put on your phone, and you set in coordinates. You put in an intent, but I've seen some bloody weird videos on YouTube about it. If you put in Randonautica, you put in your intent, what you're looking for, and then a Google map kind of comes up, and it will take you to a place out near nowhere where you'll find something to do with your intent. So most people do paranormal stuff and get freaked out.
Yeah.
Because how do the people know that someone's going to be going there at 2 o'clock in the morning? You know, it's really, I haven't quite got my head around that.
I'm
And it can,
look at that,
it can be quite dangerous. Someone in California, I think someone found a dead body.
Yeah.
That's when the police and everything. So yeah. Random is weird.
Yeah.
Boxing Day 9 to 10 it opened. Thank you. Yes, with the pantomime Jack and Jill. Yes.
Blimey,
The musical Oliver was first shown there. Another rabbit. Yeah, stop every week. Every week now to give me another rabbit hole, mate.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So,
Devon. Well, actually, funny. Yeah, that's interesting, Rick, because I'm thinking of having a little couple of days break around that area. So, if you're on Facebook, are you? Send me a message. But if not, I'll talk to you. There we go. What time are we doing? 10 past 9. This is going really well, I think.
It is. It's going.
We did random. It was after crap. Maybe our intentions were off.
Bad intentions.
Yeah, I mean, I look at some of these people, and they do, although they do sort of put up the fear factor. I look at their footage again, and I go, well, how would they know? How will someone know you are going to that location when you've only just put in your intent and what you're looking for? It's really strange.
It's worth worth trying. I mean, it's worth giving a go. Richard said he didn't get anything because he didn't turn up anything.
Oh, you did do it. Oh, you did Randonautica. Okay. Maybe if you're a bit more hardlined and a bit more skeptical, it probably doesn't deliver the results. When my marriage broke up, many paranormal things happened in the house. We both got the distinct impression that something was feeding on the emotional energy that we generated. How very interesting!
Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, when I met Sarah for the first time, I mean, I divorced from my wife before, and I was a bit of a kind of like playboy, I suppose. And I remember she kept saying to me, "I keep getting this
slut."
And so I keep getting this.
We've all been there, darling. Don't worry.
She said, "I can hear this voice outside. I keep getting this voice, and it sounded like Sarah, you know." And I could hear it, and it was. And I said, "What I think it is," I said, "even I'm not sure." I said, "You're going through an emotional time. You split from yours. I split from mine. It's a very emotional time, and this will go. It'll disappear." And I remember she had this old car, and I lifted up the thing, and it went, and I put it down, and I said to somebody, "Could this car be making the noises?" But we heard it from behind us, and it was almost as if it was calling Sarah. And I had a lot of that kind of. So that's interesting what they've said there about an emotional time.
Yeah,
that something's going on. I think that could, that I've heard that a lot of times. Mandy might be able to explain more on that. I mean,
it's interesting. Going back emotion again. Yeah, emotion. What's it about asylums with that high emotional content? I saw Keith Harrison Orville at Wimbledon Theatre, and then Mark took us to the Panther, and I told him Paul Daniels. We've got Shane Ritchie this year. Whee! I saw Cats there in 2004, Circus Show in 07, Jungle Book. The next time you pass him, pop by and say hello around the back, Jamie. I'm usually there. I'm scared of that app, but Randonautica, yeah. I'm intrigued, Mandy. I'm intrigued by it. I still think people need to be a bit careful with it. But yeah, I'm intrigued by it. My problem with Randonautica is if you were looking for the paranormal and the app gives you coordinates, how does the app know where the paranormal entities are to know where to send you? This is my problem. Yeah. But I've seen stuff on some of these ones.
Exactly.
Where that does happen. I just don't understand. I'm being very, very, very thick. We've done it many times. There's also a video with the creators of Randonautica who have literally said it's financially impossible for them to have people running around dropping off objects. So what's going on when people go out in the field and they find things to do with what they're looking for?
This is something I'm really going to be looking into after this, Mark.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's much appreciated. Like Michael. Yeah, Randonautica is a funny one. I saw Freddie Starr there way back. Great night. Yeah, I met Freddie Starr. I used to work in the West End a few times. The old school. I'm more of a comedy person now, really, to be perfectly honest. But I like some of the classics. If you put Frankie Howard, who I did see a couple of times live, I'm in stitches. But then Frankie. Equally, put on Ricky Gervais and Carl Pilkington, I'm gone. We
don't live too far from where Frankie Howard's house was, and there's been a lot of activity around there as well. and
Wow.
that's very interesting.
Here's a little thing for you. Back in 2011, I filmed. It was myself, Nori Miles, David Wells used to be on Most Haunted, and my friend Duncan on camera as well. And we specifically had a private investigation and filming at Frankie Howard's house. I've never edited that footage together because we were screwed over a little bit, I think. But I might consider it now because now
Be
a lot
interesting,
of time
be interesting.
Yeah, it was beautiful house, lovely rolling hills. It was really
fantastic.
warm. It was January, but it was really warm. It was a lovely day. What else we'll do? We'll do Mark. Your state office at Big Weatherspoon. That's right. Yes, it is. Yes, I don't want to really advertise too much where I work, but yeah. Personally, I think the videos are set up. Could be, but there's a lot of them out there.
Be a lot of work, but it could be.
Could be done. Of course, it could.
Yeah.
I think the high emotional thing is fascinating. Yes, it is. It makes sense to me that high emotional generates and releases huge amounts of energy into the atmosphere, which can maybe be used by spirit or even be sufficient to move. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's also, Mandy,
I'm interested in that, Mandy. Yeah.
That also goes into a lot of things with modern meditation and that, with how you feel. It's not just about what your mindset is. You've got to feel it. People say, oh, think positively. Yes, that's all well and good. But you've got to feel it as well, which is very hard to do.
It is. It's very difficult. And I'm learning a lot from studying Buddhism and stuff like that, meditation and stuff. Not done meditation yet, but I am learning a lot from it. And the benefits, you're right. It's interesting what you said about breathing as well. That's so important.
I do breathwork every day.
Yeah.
No, even if it's just, I usually do the Wim Hof method. I've been doing that the last couple of weeks, really doing it every day. The three, hello, just breathe, motherfuckers. I don't know, guys know who Wim Hof is. He's the guy who should have the Nobel Peace Prize, really. It's an ancient Pariana breathing technique. He sort of adapted slightly. He doesn't say he's invented it, but he's adapted it. It's helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I'm also very much into getting into grounding and earthing, where we're getting out. We've lost our natural ability to connect to the earth because we wear rubber sole shoes and all that. We need to be attached to negative charged electrons, which is the earth, whereas the atmosphere is positively charged. That's why they're theorizing. That's why in the last 200-300 years, the rate of different diseases has gone through the roof. Where before,
you've also said about food as well, haven't you? I mean, we as a Western world, we eat far too much. I
don't. I do intermittent fasting.
I've done that often, and
I love it.
The benefits can be great.
It's not so much what you eat; it's when you eat. I do. Usually, every other couple of days, I can do 16 hours. Sometimes do a 24-hour one. The benefit is if your food's not, I'm sorry, we're going off the paranormal here. If you're not digesting stuff, it takes so much energy to digest your food. But if you're not digesting, you can only drink water or maybe black coffee, and then your body can do other things and clear out the garbage. Get to 18 hours, autophagy kicks in, cell eating. The benefits are incredible. Aladdin Panda, we had Joe Brown and Matthew Kelly. Oh, lovely. Yeah, Joe Brown is to try and park her car every day. She's lovely. Matthew, I know Matthew. Matthew Kelly's lovely. Lovely guy. Always give me a good old smacker. High emotion also explains the feeling of strong energy when there's been an argument and you can feel it.
Very
I think we've really tapped on something here, haven't we? With what Mandy was saying.
Because when people walk in a room, they know. People have walked in a room, you've had a row with your partner or something like that, and they walk in that room and they're like, oh, I could cut this with a knife, I can feel it,
Does smoking count as breath work? No, it doesn't. And I'm not preaching because I'm an ex-smoker, so don't worry about that.
Mandy, I'm an ex-smoker, and
stop that nonsense. I wish I'd never started. I don't even think about it now. Don't even think about it. Matthew was the first ever CITV presenter. Yes.
Children, the children. That's
what Matthew Kelly do you talk about?
Yeah, I think it's Matthew Kelly they're on about.
No, Matthew Kelly's first gig, he was on Game for a Laugh.
Yeah. Did he do children's TV though? I thought he did.
I don't think he did. I don't remember Matthew on children's TV.
I remember Schofield and all those kind of. Yeah. Gordon the Gopher.
Yeah. Did you read it? Oh, yes, I remember you telling me. Yeah. I didn't use smoke for very long, though, did you? Yeah.
Once you stop, it's amazing,
I'm a future ex-smoker. Nice. trust me, stop smoking. I would never say anything. It's up to you, but yeah, smoking is one of the worst things you can do. But yeah, listen to me. I smoked for 25 years and I'm saying don't smoke. But I still got 98% lung capacity, so it's good. Yeah. That's why breathwork's so good. If you can get into the right rhythm and do it daily, you can reverse a lot of this crap you put in your body, you know. So it's 9:20. I think we'll start wrapping it up soon. This one I was happy to carry on having a little chat. I'm very fascinated by what you've all been saying. You as well, Richard. About
interesting, very interesting. Yeah,
you've been great.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
This thing about energy, high emotion, I think that's really interesting because that also the same plays into meditation and breath work.
Yeah.
If people know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is, who I'm fascinated by, I love to interview him, but because he's well famous, never get him. And he has all about you create your own reality, through meditation. The future is not set.
I'm trying to think of the show, but I can't think what it's called. I watch it a lot. New Thinking. I think it's Thinking Aloud. Thinking Aloud. Thinking Aloud. They have a lot of people on there as well, which is quite.
Do you know what? I think Thinking Aloud is. I've got the right. No, I'm thinking of something else. I'll make a note of that. Thinking Aloud.
Thinking Aloud.
I think I must have seen something.
Yeah, he's. I can't think of the names now. It's probably the time of the evening. My brain's starting to. But it's a fantastic show where they And I think what's great about this is we're talking and learning as we go along. I've learned so much from you guys tonight as well, which I think is good.
Because what's really lovely about this, people in the chat and yourself, you're opening up more questions.
You are,
and some are, as Nay says, every week he puts us further down the rabbit hole. Which is what we all want to know. That's really cool. I reckon smoking cigarettes is better than smoking crack, and that makes it okay. Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be better than that.
And ayahuasca is not a drug, everyone. It's plant medicine, totally different. I got it nearly 20 weeks ago, but I put on so much weight.
Unfortunately, Sally, that is a problem. I've experienced that one, double chin and everything. Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
because I fast. I've been fasting properly since 2018.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with weight. I've always been slim.
I've started to know a difference, with doing that. I've noticed a difference, yeah.
But I noticed when I did give up, I gave up in 2008, first of all, and I noticed you do eat more. But then I gave up in 2018. I didn't because I just, I can't remember when I gave up properly. 2014. But yeah, I didn't eat any more because I'm not I love food, but I'm not a big eater.
You do get over the hunger pangs. The hunger pangs do actually go, you start to get used to it,
I mean, I'll have a little snack with a glass of wine before I go to bed tonight. I'm a bit of a late bird. I like watching something on Netflix later or YouTube.
Sure, yeah.
Then, say I went to bed at 12:30, something like that. I won't eat then until 5 o'clock the next day. So it's a good 16-hour fast, so yeah, and I love the lightness it fills you, and it makes you appreciate food a little bit more, I think, as well. Yeah. So yeah, stick salad. It won't always be like that. Don't you worry.
No.
My theories on the paranormal, spiritual, and UFO all come down to energies, consciousness, and vibrations, all connected. Yes, it is. Yeah, energies, consciousness, and vibration, or as Nikola Tesla said, it's all to do with energies, frequencies, and vibration.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm still thinking this is all this material stuff. It's not really material at all.
I love Tesla's work. I think it's fantastic. I've got so many, a book about his life and everything. It's amazing. Because the paranormal opens up so much, as you say.
Well done, Robert. Well done. Yeah, weight gain. Yeah. It was a right pain. Well done, mate. Well done. It's a lovely feeling, isn't it? I mean, I just stopped. Woke up one morning. I knew it was right. I'm giving up on that date. No vaping, none of that nonsense. I just stopped, and it was out of my system within. No, I didn't feel the urge within a couple of weeks, if that. Yeah. And I was going on holiday to Florida, and I thought, it's going to be a good test. Fine, absolutely fine. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Rich. That was really interesting. Reading some really great comments. Yes,
thank you, Andrew. Yeah, thank you.
Because in Croatia, I think you're 2 hours ahead or hour and a half ahead in Croatia. Andrew's originally from England, down my way actually. Although we didn't know each other when he was here. And then the extra dimensions, but that's another rabbit hole. Stop it, Nath. Stop it. Enjoy your holiday. Stop going down the rabbit hole.
My mind does it all the time. Goes down that rabbit hole with.
I love it.
Yeah.
Electromagnetism.
Electromagnetism. Yeah, that's another one that can.
I could do it. I might one show if Gaz doesn't mind. Is do a live dowsing thing to show you.
That would be good. That would be good to see. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 1 hour ahead, and Tesla was Croatian. Of course he was. Yes, I knew he was sort of Eastern European. That's a good pedigree to have. About 3 weeks of my bar at the time, and she still does all this very Matrix. Yeah. Well done. Yeah, disgusting habit. Smelling of fags. Luckily, Mandy still smells like roses, so it's fine. So is there anything else people want to? I could dive right down to the rabbit hole, but I think what I'm going to do is hang back. I do think Gaz crashed out because he hasn't got back to me. He hasn't read the message. I think he just crashed out. Bless him. I'm sure we all wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
I think he's got a bit of a bad cold, but he says he's absolutely pumped. Tesla, probably the greatest inventor who ever lived. Yeah,
he is. Yeah,
we owe so much of the modern world to him. Faraday. I'm enjoying venturing down rabbit holes with similar-minded people. When do I do my own? It gets a bit bizarre. I want to be part. I want to know about it. We need to do this stuff. It's fascinating. Yeah,
it is. It's fascinating. Yeah, very much.
Absolutely, totally with you there, man. I'll be digging these holes myself with the kids and castles tomorrow. Now, are you going to the beach? Once again, thank you very much, everybody.
Good time.
Yeah, all the best. Oh, yeah, all the best. I've got to say a huge thank you. We'll get you on the show again, Richard. Absolutely, get you on the show again.
Great.
If you're willing. You've been fantastic.
Oh yeah, I am totally.
You've already been a guest. You've been my co-host. You've been my co-host. Really,
it's been fantastic. It's good to speak to like-minded people.
Don't tell Gaz. What we'll do is sack him.
Yeah,
and we'll get you in. Yeah, how about that?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
We'll keep that very hush hush.
Hopefully he's watching. Actually, that'd be great. Thank you for your contributions, Mandy. Really, really interesting. I was like,
thank you,
emotion.
Yeah,
emotion. Genius didn't he not come out of his hotel room for the last years of his life? Yeah, I think he had a heart attack in his hotel room. It was killed in about 84, I think it was.
A lot of them did, and also the mental illness. I mean, Richard, who was it? I'm thinking now, going back to Charles Darwin, suffered so much. Yeah.
I'm telling, don't tell Gaz.
No, no.
Love listening to you, Richard.
Thank you, Nath. We must connect. Definitely connect.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Nath Locklear. Yeah, I'll send you links if we can look in feedback and send you links. Great guy. I'm really glad I've met up with Nath through Gaz, because Gaz was singing your praises, Nath, before we connected. So that was brilliant. Apparently, there's a problem with Tesla atmospheric energy consumption and increased ozone. Is there? I thought ozone had repaired itself. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know about that. So sorry. Thank you, Rick. Everyone just gives really intelligent questions and statements. It's fascinating. We're so lucky. We are so lucky. Thanks for fascinating show. Lovely. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah.
I mean, even if people are just not really commenting, just watching, that's really much appreciated. So that's half an hour. I think we'll coach. Unless anything else you want to add, Richard?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been great. All the people contributing, I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
I'm saying Gaz is not here because I'm here to really resonate with some of the stuff you said, and some stuff he comes out you'd have resonated with as well. Yeah. Gaz comes out some really smart stuff. I've known Gaz, 2007.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a great guy. A great guy. Night, bestie. Can I call you bestie?
Night, Mandy.
That's terrible. Night, bestie. Cheers, Mandy. Thank you for your contributions as ever. Really appreciate it. I was thinking how much advanced we'd be if Tesla's info hadn't been covered up. Yeah, there's a good Doc 2 episode about that recently. Right. Well, that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to play out the end. And once again, huge thank you to Richard Case for joining us this evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Great show. Great. Lovely. Thank you very much, Robert. Appreciate it. Thank you. Up north. Lovely. Thank you, sir. Really good show, Mark. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll be back to normal, hopefully normal services next. I'm not working next Sunday, am I? No, we're off. So there'll be another show next Sunday. Also, we'll look into EVP. I think will be quite an interesting subject to touch upon, or go down these rabbit holes a bit more. It just really opens up some fascinating, interesting, intelligent debate. Thank you, Sally. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sally.
Thank you very much for joining us. So until next time, everybody, hope you have a great week. Hope you get some decent weather over here in Blighty. What's this heat wave is supposed to be happening? I love hot weather. Oh, love it. Yeah, of course, places you go to. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Richard, stay there a second. I was going to play out. And once again, thank you very much all for joining us on this lovely 22nd of August evening. And we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.